frankly, reading this, if I hadn't known, from who you are, that you were a cookbook writer, last thing I would have guessed, because you were a terrible cook as a kid.
Yes, I couldn't cook at all. I mean, not terrible. I couldn't cook. And I must have failed the sort of awful domestic science cookery test that I got when I graduated from high school. And I did fail it. I did it so badly, I knew nothing. I didn't know how to light a fire, which we had to do in the exam. And they gave us potatoes and spices, and I didn't know. I just cut everything up, put it in a pot, put water in it, and set it aflame. And that was it. And it wasn't until I was about 20 and went to England as a drama student that I began to realize that good food doesn't just come like it used to at home in India. You have to somehow make it before it appears in the form you want it. And that's when I started writing to my mother and saying, please teach me how to cook. This is awful. I'm dying in London. And then she sent me a recipe at a time in little air letters. And I started cooking, and I would cook one thing till I got it right. And then I'd cook it and cook it and cook it, then move on to the next and then the next. And I slowly increased my repertoire.
At times reading the book, I envied you, and there are times I felt really sorry for you.
When did you feel sorry for me, I'd like to know?
At times, it was claustrophobic with family.
Yeah.
And other times, it was just full of wonderful family.
Well, that's true. At times, it was claustrophobic with family, but luckily for us, there was enough space. The house was large. The gardens were big. So you escaped. You went off. You climbed a tree. And what you were getting away with and allowing to just roam free was your imagination. And that's great for a kid to have. You can jump into the security and the mayhem of a big family, but you can jump out and be alone.
You lived through a very exciting time. You actually got to see Gandhi.
I got to see Gandhi. When Gandhi started the Quit India movement, which is British get out, and we will not pay your taxes on salt, we will not pay this, we will not, it's rather like the Boston Tea Party. We had a version of the salt march was like the Tea Party. And we refused to pay the taxes on the salt. So my parents were supporting all this all the way through and going along with it. And then at one stage when we were fighting for independence, Gandhi said we will not wear British cloth, because we had all these English tweeds and, French chiffons and this and that. This is only Indian cloth woven by Indians. So to do this, everybody, he said, should buy a spinning wheel and spin, 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 spin. So I went out, I got a spinning wheel. It looked like one of those old gramophones, and I used to spin. And every week I spun so much, and I would take it to a place where they collected it, and it would all be woven into cloth, and that's what we were all wearing. And it was an exciting time, because he was telling us we're going to do it non-violently, and we're going to do it in these ways. All these were non-violent ways, wearing your own cloth and having prayer meetings. He would have these wonderful prayer meetings where he would recite, or people would, he was getting very old, Hindu prayers, Muslim prayers, all kinds of Christian prayers. It didn't matter. Hymns were being sung from all different religions, and the people would come by the millions and sit on the floor and just hear him. And when I finally got to see him was a week before he was shot.
Wow. Let's talk about the Climbing the Mango Trees, the title. Because that's sort of, it seemed like the really cool part of the day when the kids were free.
Well, what happened was that we had so many meals every day. So you had a big breakfast, and then people did things. And then you had a big lunch, and then all the adults napped, and sometimes the kids napped too. But sometimes the kid was just escaped. This was that time when no adult was there. The servants were asleep too. So you could go off and do what you wanted in the garden. And our fun thing was to climb the trees. And we would climb when the season was right for the mangoes, which is probably around spring, we would climb the mango trees and get the green mangoes. These are green and sour, because your desire is to have things which grown-ups eat. And grown-ups eat hot, sour foods, which you can barely eat when you're very little. So you get the mangoes in the trees, and we would go up, all of us cousins would climb up, and the oldest would have a penknife, and they would peel the mangoes, and we'd cut them up, and we would all be carrying our salt, pepper, cumin, chili powder, all in a mixture in our palms, and then we'd dip this sour fruit in this salty mixture and hot mixture and eat it. And that was one of my early memories of heaven.
It sounded like a nice way to grow up.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, it imbued us with a kind of confidence that I think you only get from having a lot of family around. Family is irritating, family is annoying, but family also gives you the confidence to carry through the rest of your life. That's what you carry, the warmth of those days, the confidence of those days, I think.
The book is Climbing the Mango Trees, a memoir of a childhood in India. I've been speaking with the author and cookbook author / actress, Madhur Jaffrey, and Climbing the Mango Trees is published by Knopf.